Hi everyone, Bitcoin here from
The Big Jabowski Empire!
This round. I'm up against Daspin from the guild Nukem, which is a relatively lower GP guild. It's always interesting to see pretty strong rosters like this who decide to stick with the lower GP guild, perhaps because they have friends there or whatever. But it makes it pretty difficult for him to compete in some ways, as he doesn't have what. It will probably be a very long time for him to have Ki Arimundi. And as you can see here, he runs a 6-star Malevolence and I believe doesn't actually have the Negotiator yet. Yeah, he doesn't. So those are the kind of things that you fall behind on a little bit then. Other than that, he's got a good lifetime score. His roster is also very impressive. You could see there the General Skywalker at full Relic 7 across the team. And then he's pretty much got, I believe, about twice the number of Gear 13s that I do. But I have a fair bit more Zeta, so this guy's been wailing out. And it shows. He's got quite a lot of relics on the Geonosian team, on the First Order team. So a pretty interesting roster to fight in overall, and he has pretty much the same mods as I do, I believe, if I recall from quickly checking his statistics. He's got 271 on Oldaka here. That's very speedy, especially under Asajj or Talzin lead. That's quite a bump. And the Bosk as well, 272. So yeah, I should be careful. Actually interesting, he currently has Arc Trooper as his fastest character, 333. Now I don't believe that's how he locked in, but I should be looking into that if I end up finding this team on his map. In terms of feats, I should also take a look. Oh, I haven't claimed this one yet. So I need to win a squad containing a Wookiee, and then I need to use a battle with either of the veterans with Ray Jedi training in there. Not sure if I'm going to be able to do that today, considering his High Relic First Order and High Relic other teams. So maybe I will save this feat for another day, but I'll take a look at what exactly has been going on. So, looks like my opponent attacked and took down one zone, my strongest one, with both Darth Revan and General Skywalker. Now if he got 1,009 points, he didn't take anything else down. That means that he got about 50 banners for each fight here. That's pretty low, but he still one-shot both of them. Oh, he actually attacked my General Grievous as well. Interesting. So yeah, I've got AP over here, I've got Bounty Hunters, nothing particularly impressive. But the Grievous team held once, and I'm guessing he stopped to attack after that to see how I would do before proceeding against the back wall and the other teams, or trying to pick apart the Grievous team. So maybe he just wants to see, do I need to get a full clear against this guy, or is it going to be an efficiency match across the other teams? Because if he tries to take on Grievous with something else and fails, then maybe he doesn't have enough to be efficient on the other teams. So I'm guessing that's what he's waiting for. But don't worry, I will attack, sir. So he's got First Order, pretty high on the relics here. Night Sisters with Talzin lead. Let me check. 268. Okay. Then his Grievous team has got pretty high relics across the board on there as well. He's got a fast Grievous build. Let me check the B1. Yeah. Now I usually check these things when I set my defense as well, but a day later you've forgotten with so many things going on in life, so it's best to check up on this and make sure that you didn't overlook anything or was actually looking at the wrong numbers in the first place. Alright, so I'm going to have to decide on what I want to do with this zone here first. My guess is that I will probably want to use my CLS over here. And up against the Karth team, I mean, my options are sort of Geonosians and my Ray Jedi training. I'll have to use the other team up against this team. And I think I best take a look at their speeds and modding first before making a decision there, because if I fail up against the First Order team, that could cost me quite dearly, as I don't have a whole lot of options laying around this strength level. Okay, so first order officer will be very fast from the start. Now geos are definitely nice against these guys, but there is a relic 5 executioner who I'm pretty sure could just chop down my soldier, my boggle, and various other characters if given the chance. And this Kylo Ren will definitely keep peeling off the taunt from my brute, so gotta be careful there also with this Kylo Ren. So I'm actually a little more tempted to use my resistance up against this, just for the control that I can get. I think I will likely end up doing that, and then I'm just not going to do the feat, because bringing a relatively weak veteran, I think I only have them at gear 7 or 8 or whatever, is not going to help me out a whole lot here, and I don't want to fail that fight. And then using geos up against these would be the other choice. Now, I could switch it around, but I don't feel super confident about that one. So I think what I'll do actually before attacking this team here, which I might just end up taking on with something else, I think I'll actually fight the first order team first, just to make sure that I can take those down before committing to the bottom zone. Because maybe Rage Rider training only does a partial job. I haven't really used my Rage Rider training up against this strength of team much before. So I think I will just go with that first. The only thing I can't do this one first, because I would love to bring R2 here. I really need him for the control across the team. But the issue is that if I bring R2 and he does have his General Skywalker in the back, then I'm going to have to bring someone else as a 5th, which is always less ideal, and especially considering this guy has a full Relic 7 General Skywalker team. And the fact that he one-shot both of my teams doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't have his in the back, as he might just have used Padme up against either of them and then still have a strong team in the back. So I don't want to commit my R2 yet over there, which means I have to go for the bottom first. And then I have to make a difficult choice here actually. He has a really interesting defensive layout, because if I use he might not have intended this, but it's the result for me. If I use my Rage Rider training over here, without R2, I'm going to be fine. This is not a problem. If I use my Geos up against his first order and I don't make it, then I do have a problem. Now, if I decide to use my Rage Rider training with R2, or without R2, I'm not going to beat that team. So what I could do is use the Geos up here and hope I'll beat it, and beat this one here without R2. But then the risk is that he has his General Skywalker in the back. If I use my Geos up here in the front against Karth, and then he does have Skywalker in the back, then my only option against First Order is my resistance without R2, which would be bad as well. So basically I have to use Geos up against this team here, which is really not ideal at all. So what am I going to do there? I believe I still have Watt actually, so maybe Geos with Watt could be a good choice here. Yeah, that might end up being what I will go with, though there's not really any team member that I would like to leave out of the team. But I think that will end up being the safest choice, because if I use my Geos over here, I mean Rage Rider training can also be paired up with Watt, but I think that without the AoE turn meter control, I'll be in a world of pain up against so many relics. So, tricky decision for sure. Yeah, I think I'll spend my Rage Rider training over here without using R2. Because even with Watt in there, I mean, I can give her the tank tech and she can take some hits, but the Relic First Order Executioner will still have a relatively easy time chopping her down, I think. Despite regenerating so much and having all of the foresight, I mean, their Kylo Ren will take a lot of turns and whittle me down, so Let's make this decision. It might end up being the wrong one, but I'll find that out in a moment. So for this one then, I'm going to keep C3PO with CLS for this case, because that Bosk team had quite a lot of relics going on. So I will be bringing my resistance trooper, I think, for the extra dispel. And then since the veterans still don't have their tag, I will have to pick them up here. Don't really have a preference in either of the two, I think. I mean, they're both unmodded, not particularly strong. And they don't have any synergy yet, so I'll just pick one. Thinking if I want to bring L3 or something. Nah, I have Finn to tank. This will have to work. I will take quite a bit of damage, but shouldn't be an issue. Right, so I didn't actually check the modding on this team, but I mean, considering the gears and the lack of Zetas, I should be okay here. And there goes our good friend, Veteran Han. I think I'll pick Canderous off first. I often like to go for Karth as well, but this is strange actually. It didn't trigger Zalbar. What am I missing? Feels like I'm missing something, because he did drop under the health barrier here. Okay, this did it. That's strange. There was no visible protection there. Alright, well, let's try and... Oh, that was actually a dodge. That's going to end up hurting. And now the total lack of crits. This could actually end up being a difficult battle. We'll see how it goes though. I'll have to get in control quickly here because Canderous is an issue. Okay, dispel that, and now I should be able to go for Canderous. Hopefully pick him off. There we go. Okay, I feel a little safer right now. That's always a dodgy start. And this is why R2 is just so amazing. I really hate having to use this team without him, but sometimes you just don't have a choice. Should probably try to spread out some of those exposes. Yeah, Finn is going to bite the dust for sure here. Unless he manages to control someone. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. BB-8 will hopefully get... Now, I don't want to trigger Zalbar again here, because I have to get that Illuminated Destiny off first. So I think I'm just going to go for mission. And now I can pick him off immediately. Perfect. And as long as mission remains dazed, I'm okay. Let's keep him under control for a bit. And hopefully get the kill here. Yes, perfect. Okay, bit of a dicey start. And I didn't have to necessarily do the veteran feat here, but I figured up against a team like this, it's probably going to be my best shot because I have plenty of strong opponents in my group this week again. So sometimes you just have to take a risk to try to get a feat done, even if it's not really an ideal situation. I mean, you could also just not care about feats. That's completely an option as well, but alright, I've lost some banners, 56, but that's good enough for me. It's still higher than the banners that he was scoring, so that's okay. Let's immediately go into this one. I will have a little speed advantage because of Han going first, but it's not going to be a whole lot. I'll definitely have to be careful of the Django, make sure that he doesn't get to take a whole lot of turns because that rocket will probably one-shot someone. Oh yeah, it's that Chewie. I should also pay attention to undersize feats if I get to undersize at any point. Doesn't look like it based on the map right now, but we'll see. I could also try to use this team up against the First Order, but Geos are not really that great up against Bounty Hunters from my experience. Sure, they can do well, but you're never going to get over 55 banners against them because there isn't really anyone to stall on, and there's just too many AoEs. So we stun Bosk, and I think I'll just immediately focus on Django. Usually I like to pick off Boba first. I should have put the tenacity down over on Dengar, but let's try to still land. Yes, perfect. Okay, get the buffs going. Nearly there. Okay, Django gone, that's good. I'm going to focus on Dengar next, who is already gone before I even finish my sentence. Now I need to get Boba under control before he manages to get an execute in, which should be... Oh, I thought that was going to be a kill there, but I got close. He's going to... not barely took a turn there. Yeah, there's no real way around this one. I'm gonna lose a couple banners here, but that's fine. Let's see what he had in the back. I'm pretty curious. Based on his history, he's been a very clever opponent. Right now, this is not gonna work out too amazing for him, I think, because he went very heavy on offense, so he does adapt to his opponents quite a bit, but he can afford to because of all the relics that he has across his teams. Like, this Geo team is really no joke. I believe the Spy had something like 200, almost 280 speed and very high crit chance. So at that point you don't even need the crit damage, etc. anymore, because what does it matter if Geo Spy hits for 200k or 300k, you're dead anyways. So that's a nice choice by him. Then the Ewoks over here that I would normally see use Nest up against, but now I'll probably have to combine my team of Treya and Nest here, and I hope even that makes it, because I'm not quite sure. And then in the other zone I'll still have all these teams to deal with, so I'll be plenty busy trying to get through this. So because of all those relics, he can really afford to go a little heavier on offense as well, just because his defense is really not too easy to get good banners up against. So right now I have a nice lead of 15 points. Pretty happy with that, and considering the teams I still have to take out, as long as I don't drop any battles, I should be okay. But if I do drop a battle, then it's going to come down to banner efficiency again. So I'll go up top first, Padme over here then. Considering I don't have to use my Geos on his First Order necessarily, I can also use my Jedi Knight Revan. So basically what I have for these three teams is Padme, Night Sisters that I still kept, and my Jedi Knight Revan. Now I intentionally kept my Night Sisters because I could take out his Darth Revan with it, or in this case, if he wasn't going to set that, then I would use it up against the Grievous team, and that's what I'll use in this scenario instead. I could also do Padme, of course, but I think Night Sisters are best spent on this one here. So usually it's the question, do you want to use Talzin lead, do you want to use Daka lead? And I think in my scenario I will use my Talzin lead. This could end up backfiring, but the advantage that I have is that my Spirit can immediately drop someone to very low health. Then my Talzin can finish her off, and while all of them still have their full protection, including Old Daka, Grievous will do his AoE. And as long as I have my 150k health and protection, Grievous isn't going to kill Old Daka. Might kill some of the others, and then he's already going to start boosting her health very quickly. So hopefully this works out. But it's a very high relic team. I don't get to fight these very often as my Night Sisters are on defense a lot, so this one should be interesting. Wow, that barely did any damage. I didn't crit there, which is always remarkable considering I have almost 100% crit chance on Spirit, but the crit avoidance from B2 put a stop to this one. So that's not really ideal. I think I will basic for now, try to get a stun on that Droidica. And just pick off Droidica first, I think. Because if he targets my Oldaka, I am really in trouble. Yeah, there we go. He got his roll going down. Let's try to get a stun here. Nope. For a moment there, I thought he was going for Oldaka. Yeah, but this is, I mean, this is a really dodgy matchup. It's really not my strength either, but interesting to do nonetheless. Let's try and get a stun over here. Yeah, any of those attacks target my Oldaka and I am done. So I should definitely be getting people back on the field now. Just wondering where exactly my Talzin is right now. They should bring her back. Followed by an AoE. Again, if Droidica goes for Oldaka, it's game over. And there's currently no taunt on the field, so... He really does like my Spirit. I mean, no complaints from me, but... Alright, I don't want to get another kill here. I don't think it would, but let's play it safe. Go for this guy. Heal everyone up and revive. Wow, that was a double kill. Alright. I mean, I do have the relics to answer this team, but you never know what Grievous has planned for you. But now we should be good. And everyone has full health. Big hit there, nice. Alright, 55. So, Night Sisters in First Order left over here. I know what I'm going to do against this team in the back and this one. I'll just do whatever's left over. Yeah, Padme here just makes the most sense. I don't need to do anything particularly creative or risky. I should just make sure that I clear everything in one shot and then I'm fine. So for this one, I'm just going to play it safe. Usually I like to try something different. Like I would love to try my JKR here and get a little more experience in that fight of when it makes sense to go for which character. But there's no need for me to risk that really. So let's not do it this time. Not going to bring R2 here, he doesn't add too much. So in the end I could have used R2, but that was a risk I had to take. I guess the one risk in this whole matchup. But I don't know yet, I'm not done. I shouldn't be talking too soon. So I like to bring Shaq here because she has an extra heal, because she can immediately put the protection up. Actually I am faster than the Asajj, I didn't expect that. So if I put up the protection up now, then Asajj is just going to dispel it right away. This doesn't really get me anywhere, but that's okay. Okay, Spirit went for GK, and now I get to cleanse. It's always a pity. I like to put the retribution up before Talzin goes. It happens quite often. And in that scenario, you can just counter her to death several times. But that didn't quite work out now. Who is the squishiest? I didn't really check. It's gotta be spirits. Yeah, just like this. GK is an absolute retribution machine here. So dispel that. That didn't even use up any courage. She just straight up killed zombie with a basic. 22 stacks here. Then I definitely want to kill Asajj before she dispels all of my hard-earned courage. Look at that. This should be pretty nice banners as well. I can just basic her. Yeah, it should be 59 here, I'm pretty sure. Nice. Okay, great. Then first order, so no Geos what. I mean, I could test it out, but let's not do anything crazy here. I can always give that a shot in arena. Just ask someone to put up a slightly weaker version of that if I'm curious. Don't really have the time to do it now. I'm not even going to... How many undersized feeds do I still need? Let's check that first. And maybe I should actually fight the Geos over there before I fight these guys. Because in the event that I don't clear the Geos, then JKR would do a good job cleaning them up. And then I can still use my Geos What up against the first order, which I would obviously do first. Yeah, cleared these two in one go. I still need quite a lot of undersize, I think. But I mean, there is plenty of time. And I feel like this is not the matchup to use undersized stuff. It's not often that I fight an opponent with this many gear 13, so it makes for some interesting matches. You definitely notice the difference, and the thing that the Division 1 people are unhappy about, which is that undersizing is just so difficult when you're up against these big teams, and this is nothing compared to what they face. I am well aware of that. So I'll just fight the Geos first. Wonder if my Scion can survive here. I highly, highly doubt it. Up against just a Relic 4 Geospy, he's done it before, but with all the other ones having more offense as well, I don't see it happening. Now I could put Watt in, for example, but then in the event that I still don't make it, that could become tricky. Let me see here. It's this one. Like I could put up the med pack on him because he's not going to take any turns, so he doesn't recover any protection. And then he also won't get to dispel any debuff, so I could do that one to give him a slightly longer life, and then put the taunting tech up against Nest so that Nest never gets stuck for too long. But I guess with the fast spy, she's constantly going to get dispelled anyway. But maybe Watt here will add something. So I might just throw him in just to take a look. What do I know? I haven't done it that way before, so sure, why not? He'll die, but yeah, it's whatever. Who knows? This is quite nice up against higher Relic Geos. I haven't seen anyone do it before. Maybe there's a very good reason for that, but we're about to find out. So put the taunting tech up against, up for Nest, I mean. And that's the end of What? Tambor. So I don't mind them focusing on Nest here. The more they focus on Nest in the beginning, the better. Not really landing too many pains there. That should change in a moment. Oh yeah, with their high speed as well, Scion is never going to take any turns. Okay, one AoE here should get the job done. Perfect. Alright. It's not pretty on banners for sure, I have no idea if the taunting tech had anything to do with them focusing on nest so much in the beginning, but the end result works out for me. So I still have my JKR up against this team, and then Geos up against the poor Ewoks. Yeah, pretty crazy. Like attackers, this guy as well, he's not that durable. He's really dependent on hiding behind these guys. So in a scenario like this, picking him off early is just too simple. Even though I don't really have the relics to answer his team. Let's see here. I can spread some foresight, maybe prevent losing a couple banners in a moment from Kylo's attack. Oh wow, that was a very, very big hit. Let's reduce your turn meter. Because now the only thing that's going to happen pretty much is just the one turn from Kylo Ren Unmasked, I think. And of course a counter. Looks like I'm almost full of well, my storage space. Alright, that's 60. And then what did he, yeah, his rebels. I figured he would. Oh, but that's interesting. What's he doing over here? Maybe this is a fleet that's good at stealing banners or something? I don't know. I knew he would keep the Malevolence for offense. He was really going to need it in case I put my Negotiator on defense, which I actually considered. But I actually ended up putting my own Malevolence on defense with my amazing level 82 Vulture, as I was still hoarding some ship credits. I also don't have the Hyena leveled yet for that same reason. So let's quickly go after the Ewoks here and wrap it up. Let's see, I can probably undersize this one, leaving out Sunfac as my guess. He dispels, but how much is there to dispel? I guess all the retribution. Maybe you just don't need Poggle. Although, how often do you get to fight Ewoks with Geonosians, for real? Soldier provides the turn, Sunfac the dispel. Yeah, I'll just go like this. Maybe I won't end up at full, but we will see. I kind of like going for Log Ray first, just to make sure he doesn't get the... Where's Poggle? Right, I left Poggle out. I kind of switched that up in my brain, I think. Now I wanted to, there we go, make sure that Log Ray doesn't get the dazes off, because that is always very annoying. But he does, yeah. And now I only have one cleanse, so that's not perfect. Okay, let's go for... I should be killing Elder as soon as possible. I should probably taunt here. Man, it's the kind of matchup you never really have to think about. Like, how do I max banners with Geonosians up against Ewoks? Very few people set Ewoks on defense to begin with. I should have probably gone for Wicked a bit sooner to stop the AoEs. People are nearly full. And now they should be. Okay, good. And then finally the fleet. So, well, if it's willing to load anyway, there we go. I had some guildmates with game crashes, but just a lot of people in general yesterday around the time of the client restart, which came completely unannounced, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, that obviously hurts a lot of people's Grand Arenas if you were just in on your General Skywalker battle or something and you end up getting hurt. How much GP does it have? 429. I'll probably just bring my shooters, throw in blow, and then maybe one more reinforcement. Yeah, I'll bring in Sergeant. These guys should get it done. No offense down, that's disappointing. Oh, thought I was going to hit a bit harder there. Maybe I should already use the buff here to preserve this, because I'm definitely going to lose Ahsoka, but at this point I'm already like, whatever. It didn't work out the way I wanted to open. But I don't have to call in my reinforcements at all. So 63, yeah, it's always somewhere around this area that you end up. Alright, 19, 18. So my opponent has no chance of clearing this with more efficiency, because over here he already had 50 banners each or so. It's not the best score, but I had to take a little bit of risk here and there and try to do those feats. So pretty happy with how it went in overall, and I hope to see you in the next round.